Hey, this is Joseph with ZCHG.org and WeCharge.com, just bringing you an update. So, nature of the beast. When we don't have a big budget, a lot of times it's do-it-yourself around here. As of right now, we were driving the child transport vehicle around and heard a loud noise, a clanking noise, and we were still about an hour from home. Well, I'd say half an hour from home. And come to find out that this rod bearing had failed. So when I opened up this oil pan, before I could wiggle this, and the rod bearing would it had spun, and so before I could wiggle this, we got the new rod bearing in there. These days, it takes quite a bit of time to get a new part in. Some call that the new normal. I think it's absurd, but it is what it is. We had to wait for the part to come in, and then it came in, and I had mismeasured, and so then we had to order a smaller bearing to fit. The journal had essentially decreased in size a little bit. The journal, when I measured it, it was a little bit, what is the word? It was out of round. So we'll see if this new bearing solves it. There is no jitter anymore when I move it, in any case. So it is certainly a lot better than it was, but as people who are car buffs might know, it could fail at any time if it's not precision fit, if I don't turn the crank. Just an observation and sort of why I'm doing what I do. Anytime I work on cars, I try to wear gloves, and the reason is if you get a little bit of oil on your hand, myself anyway, I start to feel pretty ill after a few hours, or even these days, a few minutes of working on a car. I'm aware that oil can seep into your skin and probably cause leukemia and other nasty, maybe like Hodgkin's lymphoma, other nasty cancers. So, the reason that the conventional engine has to go is not because of global warming. It's because it's bad for the body. It's bad for the environment. It's not to do with the global warming agenda, which goes hand in hand with that new normal bullcrap. Any case, so I told you before in my last update that we were painting, and I was painting, and we got a lot of painting left to do, but we were sort of going real slow right now because we had to replace the rod bearing, and hopefully we get this back together. The child transport vehicle will be back online. But 99% of people, when their car fails in this way, they would take it to a mechanic and pay. Our mechanic quoted us $6,000, and so far it's cost me about $75 in rod bearings, simply because I mismeasured. I could have done it for $25, a lot cheaper to do it yourself, but of course it eats up your time. So I was talking to my cousin the other day, and you work with what the assets that you've got. You work with those assets. You work with the money, you work with the time, you work with the materials that you have. And if you stay in those constraints, the way my cousin would have done it is different because he's got different constraints. And the way I do it is the way I do it because I've got my constraints, my time, money, resources, energy, all of that. So hopefully this doesn't fail on us again. If you recall, about a year and a half ago, we had a failure in the upper. That was some more of that new normal bull crap. I had ordered a genuine Honda part through eBay that ended up not being a genuine Honda part, and that you hear that valve breathing. That's pretty cool. That if you didn't know, you can turn a crank just by you take a ratchet, turn it on that crankshaft. I had ordered what was supposed to be a genuine Honda part on eBay, which I know eBay is sort of the wild, wild west, but nonetheless, this wasn't a problem 10, 15 years ago. This wasn't a problem pre-pandemic. This is part of the rollout, in my opinion. You buy a part that's supposed to be genuine Honda or genuine what have you, and it's not. The timing belt ended up being about a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch too small, and it was enough to cause for the valve to fail on the upper